Located in the heart of the Eurasian continent, Turkmenistan is a landlocked country that surprisingly boasts a 380-meter coastline along the Caspian Sea. Known as the largest inland sea in the world, covering nearly 190,000 square miles, Turkmenistan is 1.5 times the size of California. However, its population is only about 6 million people, making it one of the least densely populated countries on Earth. Around 80% of its territory is the Karakum Desert, a scorching land where summer temperatures can exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet beneath this harsh environment lies a vast reserve of natural gas, making Turkmenistan one of Asia's richest resource countries. The name Turkmenistan means land of the Turkmen, and fittingly, about 85% of the population are Turkmen, with the rest consisting of Uzbeks, Russians, Kazakhs, and other minorities. The official language is Turkmen, though Russian remains widely spoken. The climate resembles Nevada's hot, dry desert. Yet the air is surprisingly clean due to the lack of vehicle pollution, heavy industry, and the sparse population. Turkmenistan feels like a place where time has stood still. There are no social media platforms, international stores, or billboards. The main cities look pristine and uniform, almost like a carefully built model. It is one of the 10 least visited countries globally. In fact, obtaining a visa to Turkmenistan is among the most difficult in the world. If you want to know just how challenging it is, comment with the number 5 below and we will. Life in Turkmenistan can feel like stepping into a Central Asian version of North Korea, where every aspect of life is tightly controlled. A simple yet strange example. People are not allowed to keep dogs in the capital, Ashgabat, because the government claims the smell from pets affects the living environment. Instead, rabbits, guinea pigs, and parrots have become the reluctantly popular pets. On the streets, black cars cannot be newly registered. The government encourages everyone to switch to white vehicles as the president believes white symbolizes purity and good luck. Even car radios are disabled or strongly discouraged because authorities consider them useless and unnecessary in a highly controlled national life. Cultural regulations are even more surprising. Lip syncing is strictly banned on all stages, including weddings, TV shows, and community events. People with gold teeth, a common symbol in Central Asia, are encouraged to replace them with porcelain teeth to maintain national aesthetics. All media in Turkmenistan is state-owned, focusing almost exclusively on praising the leader, traditions, and party-led achievements. There is no private press or international TV. As for the internet, citizens cannot access YouTube, Google, Facebook, TikTok, or Twitter. Keywords like VPN, proxy, and anonymous are completely blocked. The average internet speed is 100 times slower than in the US, and there's only one internet provider, which is state-owned, of course. What do you think about life in this conservative society? If you had to live here, how long do you think you could last? Please share your thoughts in a paragraph rather than a list. Turkmen women possess a unique beauty, a blend of Central Asian elegance and the quiet spirit of the desert. They are not loud or flashy, but have an indescribable charm, like a slow-burning flame deep in the Karakum. The first thing that catches your eye is their traditional colorful clothing. Women still wear long dresses with intricate hand embroidery, cover their heads with scarves, wear large silver jewelry, and braid their hair long down their backs. An image both fairy tale-like and proudly national. Although many Turkmen women today are well-educated and work in government, healthcare, or education, traditional standards still play a major role. No bright hair dye, no fake nails, no pants in the office, and many still wear scarves to work, not for religious reasons but because of national aesthetics. Notably, Turkmenistan has one of the lowest population densities in the world. To encourage childbirth, the president once declared that women who have 8 or more children would receive $250, free public transportation, free dental care, and other social privileges. Sounds appealing, right? Many foreigners think so, especially since Turkmen women are beautiful, modest, and traditional. But don't get your hopes up. Though the law allows it, marrying a Turkmen woman is not as simple as you might think. There are very real and surprising barriers that make many reconsider after learning more. If you truly want to know why foreign men often fail to marry Turkmen women, comment with the number 4 and I'll reveal more later. Do you think the moment a bride walks down the aisle is when she smiles the brightest? In many places, yes, but in rural Turkmenistan, this is not the case. According to traditional customs still alive in many Turkmen villages, the bride must not smile throughout the wedding ceremony. A serious face, downcast eyes, and a quiet demeanor all show humility, obedience, and respect for the groom's family. Here, a smile is not a sign of happiness, but a luxury only allowed after the bride proves herself a good daughter-in-law. This is called the smile of approval, and it is reserved for the mother-in-law, not the groom. When the mother-in-law feels satisfied after living together for weeks, months, or even years, the bride is then encouraged to relax her expression and smile officially. This custom comes from a conservative nomadic culture where a woman's modesty is a core virtue, and emotional expressions must follow strict norms. Although many urban girls today are no longer bound by this tradition, weddings in rural Turkmenistan remain solemn, where happiness is not measured by...
Have you ever seen a horse shining as if covered in gold? Not in a cartoon or painting, but a real horse, alive and galloping under the sun, glowing like a moving treasure. If your answer is no, then you probably haven't heard of the Akal Teki, Turkmenistan's legendary horse breed. Akal Teki, also known as Al Teki, is the living pride of the Turkmen people. Famous for its strange metallic coat that can shine gold, silver, or copper depending on the light, it's not photoshopped. The unique hair structure reflects light like silk. Beyond its looks, this breed has incredible endurance. Once running hundreds of miles across the Karakum Desert without rest, Akal Teke horses are sought after like four-legged diamonds. One horse can be worth hundreds of thousands or even over $1 million, but not everyone can easily buy one. The Turkmen government strictly controls exports to protect this national cultural heritage. In the dry Karakum Desert of Turkmenistan, a crater burns day and night as if the earth itself is breathing fire. It is called Darvaza, or more famously, the door to hell. The story began in 1970 when Soviet geologists drilled for natural gas in the area. During the survey, the ground suddenly collapsed, creating a huge crater nearly 230 feet wide and about 65 feet deep, equivalent to over 6 stories. When methane gas started leaking, scientists decided to ignite it to prevent the spread of toxic gas, thinking the fire would burn out in a few days. However, more than 50 years later, the flame still burns fiercely, just like on day one. Desert winds howl through the crater, making the fire blaze higher and wilder at night, lighting up the surrounding area like a light show. Strangely, this has turned Darvaza into one of Turkmenistan's most bizarre and popular tourist spots, where visitors camp at the edge of the fire pit to witness the history of a burning mistake. Experts estimate the gas burned over decades equals millions of dollars. The Turkmen government has repeatedly promised to close the crater, but the fire continues to burn, serving as a permanent reminder of a decision once thought temporary. In Turkmenistan, communication is not just in Turkmen or Russian. There is also an invisible language silently woven into daily life. Silence. This is likely a result of the harsh laws the country enforces. On buses crossing Ashgabat, you'll often see a familiar scene, dozens of people sitting quietly. No loud talking, no chatter, especially no mention of politics. In tea houses, offices, and family meals, sensitive topics are wrapped in glances, polite smiles, or simply agreed-upon silence. National TV news flows in one direction, praising the leader, agricultural achievements, and hand-woven carpets. There are no investigative reports, no debate talk shows, no alternative views. On local social networks, discussing national policies automatically gets posts removed or never shown. Gradually, silence stops being a reaction and becomes a survival skill. Parents teach their children to stay quiet, like teaching them to avoid trucks on the road. A glance, a slight nod, a let-it-go smile. This is the second language everyone learns without books. You might not know where the man in front of you is from, but if he's wearing a huge sheepskin hat that looks like a cloud resting on his head, then he's almost certainly a true Turkmen. This hat is called a telpek. Since the 7th century, the Turkmen, descendants of Oguz's nomadic tribes, have roamed the steppes, mountains, and deserts. Over thousands of years, they have maintained close ties to 5 original tribes, expressed through carpets, language, and especially hats. The telpek is made entirely from natural sheep wool, thick like a lion's mane, but surprisingly light and soft. Don't think it's just a winter hat. Even in the 110-degree Fahrenheit heat of the Karakum Desert, Turkmen men wear telpex because it magically stabilizes body temperature. In traditional Turkmen society, the telpek is not just an item but a symbol of maturity. A boy only wears a real telpek when he reaches adulthood, a solemn moment akin to a Westerner's first tie or tuxedo. In rural areas, men wear telpeks at parties, tribal meetings, marriage proposals, and even horse competitions. Number 7. The heart of Turkmenistan. Beneath the dazzling white exterior of Ashgabat, Turkmenistan's capital, is not just a white marble Las Vegas, but an open-air museum full of grand and strange monuments that can make any visitor question reality. Start with the Neutrality Monument, a 312-foot tower topped with a gold-plated statue of the late President Niyazov waving his hand, which once rotated daily to face the sun. Yes, it really rotated. It was once a symbol of supreme power. Next, don't miss the National Carpet Museum, which houses hundreds of hand-woven carpets centuries old. It even holds a carpet that once held the Guinness World Record for the largest in the world. Another highlight is the National Museum of Turkmenistan, where you'll find fossils, artifacts from the Parthian era, and a collection of gifts from around the world to the president. Prefer open spaces. Independence Park is a marble and fountain paradise with dozens of monuments representing national identity, from Akalteke horses to giant patterned pillars. And don't overlook the Kipchak Mosque, the country's largest mosque built from white stone and lavishly decorated, once the resting place of President Niyazov. It's not just a religious site, but a political monument with a rare personal imprint.
Number 6. The people and their love for carpets. If you look closely, you'll notice that the Turkmenistan flag features carpets. You might never have wondered why the Turkmen flag has carpet patterns. Simply put, the Turkmen don't just love carpets, they worship them. Each carpet motif on the flag represents one of the 5 traditional Turkmen tribes. You can see authentic versions displayed in the National Carpet Museum in Ashgabat, one of the few museums worldwide dedicated to a single type of artifact. Furthermore, Turkmenistan even has a carpet ministry, a real government agency managing production, export, inspection, and promotion of carpets. There's even a National Carpet Day celebrated every late May. The popularity of carpets in Turkmenistan goes beyond what outsiders can imagine. You'll see carpets not just on floors, but on walls, tables, gates, inside cars, and even as backgrounds in ID photos. In rural areas, carpets are sacred dowries. Every girl starts weaving her own carpet from birth to take with her when she marries. Number 5. National holidays creatively decided by the president. If you think national holidays only celebrate historical or religious events, Turkmenistan will expand your concept. National holidays can be created anytime the president announces and decides. The most notable is National Melon Day, held on the second Sunday of August. Why? Turkmen melons are considered the sweetest in the world and are a national pride. So the whole country gets a day off to admire, eat melon, and listen to speeches praising traditional agriculture. The festival includes parades, singing, dancing, melon exhibitions, and of course a giant melon statue in the square. Next is Akalteke Horse Day, honoring the national horse breed with its unique metallic coat. On this day, prized horses are decorated with bows and perform jumps, races, and even pose competitions. The story of the Akalteke horse is even included in textbooks as a symbol of loyalty and national strength. Not only that, Turkmenistan once celebrated Women's Beautiful Hair Day, honoring the length, smoothness, and purity of Turkmen women's hair. Hair braiding contests, scarf embroidery, and traditional dress shows were held with as much grandeur as international fashion weeks. Number 4. The only book more powerful than the Constitution. In most countries, books are tools for learning, personal inspiration, or cultural treasures. But in Turkmenistan, there is one book considered more powerful than the Constitution. And you must study it to survive in society, the Runama, written by the late President Saparmurat Niyazov. The Runama is not just a memoir or philosophy, but a political, ethical, and life guide, even used for exams. If you think studying national history to graduate is tough, imagine having to memorize the Runama to get a driver's license, graduate high school, apply for government jobs, or even receive scholarships for studying abroad. Temples, libraries, and schools all display copies of the Runama in prominent places, and students once had to memorize its first chapter starting in first grade. In some areas, people believe starting the day by reading a passage protects them from misfortune. Number 3. The oldest cities in Turkmenistan. Nisa, about 11 miles from Ashgabat, was the first capital of the Parthian Empire, a power that once made Rome wary. Today, the ruins of Nisa are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, featuring high adobe walls, ancient temples, wine cellars, and many artifacts with Greek influences, evidence of East-West cultural exchange over 2,000 years ago. Recently uncovered ancient inscriptions and stone statues show much remains to be discovered. Meanwhile, Merv in the east was one of the largest cities in the medieval Islamic world, with an estimated population of over 500,000 in the 12th century. Merv was a center of learning and religion, home to famous astronomers, doctors, and philosophers. However, in 1221, the Mongols destroyed the city, turning Merv into a ghost town within days. Minaret towers, Seljuk temples, and mausoleums still stand. Dayastan, lesser known, is a mysterious gem in the barren western lands. Here, two sandstone gate pillars and ruined arches stand in silent emptiness, making Dayastan look like a post-apocalyptic movie set. No residents, no signs, just wind and sand. Number 2. A culinary paradise. Turkmen cuisine is a flavorful journey where traditional dishes are made from simple ingredients but rich in taste, rustic and full of nomadic character. One national dish is plav, rice cooked with lamb, carrots, onions, and spices, often prepared in a large cast iron pot outdoors, like a Central Asian version of Western fried rice, but filled with steppe poetry. Another popular dish is shashlik, skewered meat grilled over charcoal, found on every corner with a rich aroma that can make you hungry just by smelling it. A special part of Turkmen food culture is community bonding. Meals are often shared on a cloth spread on the ground called dasturkan, with people sitting close, eating round bread called churek with meat soups or yogurt using their hands. A cup of hot green tea is always offered first as a friendly greeting, and refusing tea can be seen as impolite. Visitors will be surprised by the locals' love for fermented mare's milk and camel milk, traditional drinks considered miracles of the steppe. Number 1. Cost of living in Turkmenistan. Compared to Western countries, the cost of living in Turkmenistan is surprisingly low for many Americans. A full meal at a casual restaurant usually costs about $3 to $5, while a dinner for two at a fine dining place rarely exceeds $25. Fruits, vegetables, and meat at local markets are very affordable, with a bag full of guavas, tomatoes, and potatoes costing only about $2 to $4. Rent is also quite affordable. A one-bedroom apartment in downtown Ashgabat costs around $200 to $300 per month, and about $150 per month outside the city center. Even a three-bedroom apartment for a family ranges from $400 to $600 depending on the area. Remarkably, fuel is almost free. Turkmenistan has huge natural gas reserves, and there was a time when the government provided electricity, water, and gas completely free to citizens. Although there have been some changes, gasoline prices remain surprisingly low, under $1 per gallon. Internet is cheap, about $10 to $20 per month, but slow and strictly controlled. Overall, a simple lifestyle in Turkmenistan can cost under $500 to $800 per month. However, this low cost comes with trade-offs: limited shopping options, slow technological services, and many strict regulations. With these costs, do you think Turkmenistan is a place you would consider visiting or living in? If yes, comment with number 1. If not, comment with number 0. We will share some tips on saving money while living in Turkmenistan. If you are truly interested and want to visit this country, comment with number 7, and we will share details about visas, permits, and other requirements to get to Turkmenistan. We've just explored the beautiful land of Turkmenistan together. Thank you for watching until the end. We hope you'll continue to join us on our next journeys to discover the wonders of the world.